Hey, it's Chris Lytle back from Plymouth, Minnesota in my Chattanooga office on Wednesday, September 29th. And I wanted to update the Discover the Difference seminar with this quick video. Uh, a lot of the sound wouldn't work. Well, none of the sound would work and the video wouldn't work through the system at the hotel. So I'm putting this together to give you the rest of the story, the rest of the session. Crazy TV Lenny was my biggest client and my boss for about 3 years, 2.5 years. And he said, advertising's got to be fun. It's only 4% of our sales. Let's have fun with the advertising. And here's Herb Tarlick having fun with a piece of copy.
Now, no offense, Bailey, but part of your job around here is writing commercials, but you don't do a very good job.
How so?
All right, don't get upset. Now, I know you're a journalism school graduate, but you don't know how to put the bite in the old sales message.
For example?
For example, this copy from the North Mall Pet Village. Get a load of this, big guy. Wouldn't you like to come home to a cuddly, warm little companion like a Cocker Spaniel? What's wrong with that? I like it. Big guy. They're selling dogs left and right down there. What we got to do is move the merchandise that's piling up in the back.
I see.
For example, Herb.
For example, Bailey, this is the way you write one of these things. Big snake sale. Save, save, save. Pick and choose. Mix and match. Everything's marked down. These marvelous pets are quiet, hard to find. Rid your home of pesky rodents and unwanted baby chicks. Startle your friends today.
So great clip from WKRP, but Herb even then had an other orientation. He was worried about what the client's problem was. And my boss, Phil Fisher, said, that's your problem. What's the client's problem? What's the advertiser's problem? And the advertiser's problem is snakes piling up in the back room. So that's a quick example there. Now, when your client's talking cliches, I said you've got to have an automatic response. And that response must be, tell me a story about that. And I told the story about the free delivery, and there was a Kennedy Hahn appliance store in Appleton, Wisconsin, and a woman from Washington Island bought some appliances. And here's the owner of the store, Dave Kennedy, telling the story about that free delivery to Washington Island.
Our delivery guys dug deep to get the job done. Hi, I'm David Kennedy of Kennedy Hahn Appliance. At the tip of Door County is a beautiful remote island called Washington Island. The only way to reach it is by a ferry boat ride. Well, a woman who lives on Washington Island purchased her appliances from our Appleton store. But when our delivery crew went to deliver the appliances, they discovered that due to the size of our truck, the toll for the ferry was almost $100. Well, our delivery guys know that when Kennedy Hahn says free delivery, it means free delivery. So they peeled off 5 $20 bills and finished the job. The mental picture I have of that big truck of ours bobbing across the channel on a ferry serves as a symbol of how far we'll go to take care of the customer. Besides, if we can handle a difficult delivery to a remote island in Lake Michigan, imagine how well we can deliver values like these to homes around here.
Get up to $100 cash rebate on Frigidaire appliances, including the Gallery series and all stainless steel kitchen. Get a professional-looking kitchen and cash rebates from Frigidaire.
We deliver on service at Kennedy Hahn, Waunakee.
So there's the branding story and a little price item to get the Frigidaire co-op. So you could do both things at once. And a great example of theater of the mind, the visual picture I have of that ferry bobbing across Lake Michigan. You don't need the picture on the slide to visualize that once you've been there. Huge selection and inventory. This is a Buzz Krovitz's story. Denver, Colorado, I'm doing a seminar for advertisers there. A guy comes up to me and says, would you do my advertising? And I said, well, I got to catch a plane. He said 3 magic words, I'll pay you. And that's Buzz and his wife, and they're now doing tours of Israel. But back then he was sponsoring the pregame show on radio in Denver, $1,500 a spot. And the rep was calling him up the Friday before the game saying, what do you want to run? He says, I want to have some commercials I can run and not have to think about it. So Chris, here's what we got to do. We got to write these commercials. I went in and found out that he only had 3 locations while his competitors had, one had 23 locations, another had 16 locations. But I found out in the discovery phase of the meeting that his one Denver store had 23,000 stock keeping units. And the average auto parts store, the small one, just have 8,000. And then he told me the story about the guy that wanted the universal joint for a GM pickup, and they had 5 in stock. The guy's mad. He's been driving around Denver all day, and it's 4:00 on Saturday, and he finally finds the part. And I wrote the line, why part with half your weekend looking for a part? We told these stories in the commercials for 7 years. The faster you can find the part, the faster you can fix your car was the tagline. Every commercial had that. And when Buzz ran out of stories, he started asking the counter people for stories, and he was paying them $100 per story. And this is one of the stories contributed by one of the counter people at Cousins.
The sales rep is stranded in Leadville Friday night. Alternator on her VW Rabbit shot.
Ooh.
Husband on the way out to get her. He's calling every parts store on his car phone. No luck.
It's Buzz from Cousins Auto Parts. Is there a happy ending?
This guy finally calls Cousins, and we have 5 alternators that will fit Rabbits. What's the engine size? Guy says, I don't know. Can I buy all 5 and bring back the ones I don't need? No problem. Happy ending.
The faster you can find the part, the faster you can fix your car.
Call Cousins first.
So the other example I gave was great service. I didn't really have an audio for this, but this was Nedrebo's Tuxedos, and we interviewed Russ Pillar, who was the manager and the son-in-law of the owner, of course. And Russ told a story about doing a wedding, doing the tuxedos for a wedding in Rhinelander, which is about 3.5 hours from Madison, which is not even on the map there. You can see Sun Prairie, Wisconsin Dells. Madison's just south of there. But he said, we sent up all these tuxedos without studs and cufflinks, and you try finding a stud in Rhinelander on a Friday night, it's hard to do. So that ran for about 6 months, got a lot of laughs, got a lot of people talking about it. But also, Cousins, Nedrebo's didn't have to discount and give the groom's tuxedo free, and rent 5 tuxedos and get the 6th free. They didn't have to do promotions like that because they had established the service and the quality brand. Anyway, the other audio that didn't show up the way I wanted it to was Barry Drake's. And I mentioned Barry's book, 40 Years and 40,000 Sales Calls. And this is the interview I did with Barry about the Saturday sales strategy. I did this as a knowledge bite a few years ago, but you can hear it right now.
When I read Barry Drake's book, 40 Years, 40,000 Sales Calls, I'd just done a knowledge bite about calling on prospects and customers outside of normal business hours. So Barry's story about going to see customers on a Saturday morning jumped off the page at me. I asked the former CEO of Backyard Broadcasting why the sales team in Philadelphia made calls on Saturday mornings. And then he talked about why getting out there on Saturday can be a competitive advantage.
Well, it came down because the general manager made us do it. He says, "Look, guys, we're not up to where we're supposed to be for the month, so we're working tomorrow." There really wasn't much warning either. If I remember the first time that it happened when I was there, in talking with my fellow salespeople, I found out that this had happened in the past and it happened from time to time. But this was the first time that it happened when I was there, and I was a bit surprised. But I was most surprised in that it was taken so matter-of-factly by the staff. There was no rebellion. There was no, oh, gee, but I got to go to do this tomorrow. No, there was none of that. It was all just, okay, we'll be here at 8 o'clock like we normally are during the week, and we'll get the day going. But one advantage is that you're out on the street, and most of your competitors are home in bed. That's a tremendous advantage. The other advantage would be that when you make a call on a advertiser on a Saturday, they're not expecting to see a radio salesperson walk in the door at 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning. They're working. They're not expecting to see you working. The second they see you working, they immediately bond with you. I know you've talked about this before, Chris, in some of your talks with our salespeople years ago. And it's true. The minute the second the advertiser sees you walk in the door at an odd time, whether it be a Saturday morning or a Thursday night at 8:30, there's an immediate connection there. They're working, you're working, there's a connection. The other aspect of it is that the advertiser is generally more relaxed on a Saturday morning than they would be on a Tuesday afternoon. Generally speaking, during the week they've got their items of to check off their list, the agenda of the day, people pulling at them from all different directions. Saturday morning they're not being pulled so much in those kinds of directions. They're not being pulled apart like they are during the week, and they actually have time to sit there and talk. So you create this bond, and then they also have time to sit and talk. Then they figure, hey, I'm here on a Saturday. I'm going to get something done. They're more receptive to taking action than they might be, again, on a Tuesday afternoon when they'll say, okay, yeah, looks good. Call me Thursday. We'll see how it looks, and we'll see what we want to do. Well, here we are. We're Saturday morning. We're not doing anything else. Let's look at this. I already like this salesperson because they're working hours that I'm working. I'm relaxed. Let's get something done. Let's put it to bed now. I can feel like I accomplished something today on a Saturday. Type A business people feel good when they can feel they accomplished something on a time when maybe their competitors aren't doing anything. Now, the other side benefit to it is the math works. You get to see more people. You get to see some people that you wouldn't have seen during the week. If you made 20 calls during the week and they were all decision-maker face-to-face calls, you did great. Well, you can add 3 or 4 on a Saturday and beat those numbers. And again, you're going to get to some people that you might not have been able to get to during the week. And you're going to be able to lay the groundwork perhaps for a future relationship that you wouldn't have been able to establish otherwise. It just creates another opportunity and possibilities for you to do more business and to make more important and fruitful contacts with potential advertisers.
Could you build stronger relationships and speed up your success by working when your customers are working? You won't know until you do it. This is Chris Lytle. Hey, I started my own business so I wouldn't have to work Saturdays. It didn't work out either. Talk soon.
So that's food for thought. And even if you went out one Saturday a month, that would be like having 2 extra weeks of sales a year, sales calls, sales meetings, sales conversations per year. Just because you went out on a Saturday. So think about what Barry said and act on it if it makes sense to you. Education without action is entertainment. To know and not to do is not to know. So keep adding to your victory log. Read the RAB instant backgrounds for a specific advertiser. Put the advertiser's name on the instant background to prepare for the meeting with that person. Write a couple of multi-level probing questions for your next discovery meeting or your next meeting in general, because you'll be using some level 3 facts and have some level 3 moments with your clients. Eliminate cliches, replace them with stories, and take a few minutes to pre-plan your most important meetings with a coach. And these days, every meeting's an important meeting. Keep doing it better. Your clients get better as you get better, and your clients are rooting for you to get better. Consider doing it differently, because in today's media environment, different is usually better. All right, it's been my privilege to work with you, and let me know how you're doing. My email is on the handout that you got at the session, chris.lytle@instantSalesTraining.com. What motivates me right at this point in my life are hearing the success stories that you're having using the materials that I'm teaching. I appreciate it. Talk soon.